welcome to our first episodes of Bits and Boards. I'm Anthony Kolakowski.
And I'm Jacob Gonzalez.
And like I said, it's our first episode now working with the local gaming scene, whether it's esports or tabletop or trading cards. It's been something I've been trying to get set up here for almost a year now, and now with CTV and our WTEN Plus app, it's finally something that we've set up and got going. And Jacob here, who has been on a couple of those shoots with me, I think, what was it, the esports arena in Finance we were at?
Yep, so we went to the video esports arena. It was our first ever shoot together, and ever since then, me and Anthony have always talked esports, talked gaming. You know, we both have a very big passion into it, and we're happy to have this show together. So
since then, I've done a couple little things with the local tabletop scene at Adirondacon and a couple other conventions, and I met our guest here, Tim Orcutt, who was at Capital Land, which is a PC gaming convention, but he was there testing out his new game, which is Beep Beep Boom. So thank you, Tim, for joining us today. Appreciate it as our first guest ever.
I'm honored.
So first, just tell us about what got you into tabletop gaming and that whole space as a whole.
Well, I've been designing board games since I was a kid. In fact, when I was a young kid, I was told that I designed a game for every member of my family, and nobody could figure out the rules because I was not a lucky kid, and I hated all the games growing up were all based on luck. And so I wanted to have a little bit of a fairer scoring system and reward people for actually thinking about their next move. So although I've been doing it for a long time, it's only recently that I've started to really develop pretty well. I found this gaming group that I'm a part of quite by accident. I went to a Troy Farmers Market, and there was someone I happened to know running the table for Bard & Baker, and he says, "Oh, you should come by the inventors, the board game designers day that they have. They do it on the fourth Tuesday of the month." And I joined, and the protocol is that you test somebody else's games out first before you ask to test your own. But the group is going strong, and the second Tuesday of each month, it's hosted at someone's house. So I'm actually hosting it at my house the second Tuesday of this month, and then the fourth Tuesday of the month is always at Bard & Baker in Troy.
So you've been all over the place with going from Troy, going to, well, like I said, Capital Land is also in Troy, but any other places that you brought Beep Beep Boom? I know there's Adirondacon and places like that, but how has that playtesting gone for you?
It's gone well. I actually paid to be part of a pitch event. It was called Mojo Pitch, and it's based out of London. And I could not afford airfare to London, but they had a virtual event, and I got to present in front of 15 publishers, some of them with very big names that I can't repeat because of the contractual agreements I have. But I did get 5 publishers interested. I was advised to get a sample deck made beforehand, so when there was one group that wanted to see a sample, I had it handy. So this is the deck that I had professionally made. It's and it comes with a nice little cover too. So this is the game deck. So it forms the tableau, and then there are other cards that the players would have in their hand to tell them what bombs they have. So this game is kind of like Minesweeper with people. But what's great about it is that everybody has to be engaged because you're the ones who are giving the warnings to the person who's about to choose a space. How many bombs are there? So each player says beep for each bomb they have, including the player making the choice. And so if somebody hears 5 beeps, well, that's trouble. That means every single space adjacent or on that is a bomb, but that's great information for everybody else. If you choose a space and there's no beeps, well, that's a mixed bag because, yeah, you're fine. You can take that card, but there's 4 other spaces that are good, and your opponents are going to grab those first, get information about the surrounding spaces, and then they'll get a free card. So it's more fun when you have maybe 2 beeps or 3 beeps, and you say, I'm going to go for it. But if you do make a mistake and you choose one, that player who said beep is going to suddenly say boom. And then you get this card flipped over, which shows a -2 in red, and your score just dropped. So it's risky to pick it up, but eventually it gets so tight because once you know that there's nothing but bombs left, then we end the round and you add up your scores. So I've had a lot of good feedback on this, even from people who, when I did the pitch, they said, "Oh, this is so cool, I want to play it," but our company is looking for kids' mass marketing games. They're looking for the next Uno or Skippo, right? So this is a little too brainy, and it's interesting when I spoke to I had an age of 8+ for this game, and when I spoke to the publishers in Europe, they said, "Oh yeah, that sounds about right. My 9-year-old could figure this out, but not my 5-year-old." And when I said that to an American publisher, they said, "Oh no, 12+ if you're marketing it in the U.S. because Europe is way ahead of us as far as education." Yeah, so it's been fun, and I'm actually going to be following up with the publishers that asked for. Some asked just for a sell sheet, which is just a 8.5 by 11 sales piece, really, and then the rules as well. So. A lot of 4 out of the 5 asked for the sell sheet and the rules, and then 1 asked for a sample, and I sent that to Europe, and it cleared that country's customs, fortunately. So I'll be following up with them probably this week. I've got to factor in the different hours, but so hopeful on that one. But yeah, that's the one I did, and while I was having that one made, I developed another one. Which is
busy.
Yeah, it was. Sometimes when you wake up at 4:30 in the morning and you're like, I am not getting back to sleep. Ooh, what if I did this? So I actually have another game. It's called Match Anything, and the beauty of it is you can play it, a kid's version of it, with the same deck as you could an adult version. So on the tableau, so there's a matrix of cards, and this one, most card games have a rank and a suit, right? So there's 2 aspects, rank and suit. But with this deck, it's 3 aspects. You have number, shape, and color. And for the people who happen to be colorblind, I have the word written out of the color. That's important because someone in my group, actually, my gaming testing group, is colorblind.
Wow.
And so they appreciate that. And I think when you're designing these games, it's important to include everybody as best you can. So these are very easy to understand symbols, even in a foreign language. Somebody could understand what the number 4 is. So I have all these various shapes. So it's 3 shapes: square, circle, triangle. And then there's 3 colors, red, yellow, blue, and there's 3 numbers. Now what's weird is, in order for the math to work, the numbers on the cards on the matrix have to be 1, 2, and 4. And then the claiming cards, the cards that you use to claim pairs of cards, end up being 3, 5, and 6. So 3 will claim a 2 and a 1, 5 will claim a 4 and a 1, 6 will claim a 4 and a 2, and so on. So that's one aspect, is numbers. So in the claiming deck, you've got things like this, where you have a green cone. So you've got a green number 3 cone. So the cone has a circle and a triangle. It's got the number 3, so it'll pick a 1 and a 2. And the green will be, if you remember the color wheel, that's going to be yellow and blue, make green. So so for the kids version, you can make it so you only have to match one aspect. You could have any blue and any yellow, or you could have any circle or any triangle, or any 1 or any 2. But for the adult version, you need 2 aspects, and that's a lot harder, especially when you can see face up what card the next person's going to use. So you can kind of be devious and a little bit of a not very nice person, we'll just say that so I don't get bleeped, to kind of thwart your opponents, because they're thinking, I've got a great match, I got a perfect match. Then you take the card they need, because you do get a bonus for having a perfect match, and you'll get an extra point if you are the last person with a perfect match. So you could start with a perfect match card, but if somebody else gets all 3 aspects, then they steal that from you. another little bit of take that, which actually some publishers were like, this, Beep Beep Boom doesn't really have any take that aspect to it. So that's in part to answer that question.
No, yeah, that's amazing. I mean, it seems like you've been really busy. I mean, not only with just this game, but it seems like you've had a lot of other games in develops. But let's kind of go back to Beep Beep Boom a little bit. I know you were at Capitol Land a few weeks ago, and you kind of had time to have people try out the game for themselves. So kind of talk about how that went and kind of the feedback that you had on that.
Yeah, I got a lot of really good feedback on that. There were some suggestions that I didn't necessarily agree with.
Really?
Wow, that's interesting. Okay.
But because it would kind of mess with one of the aspects of the game. But I think people liked it. They thought it was cool, and so they did enjoy it. I also had another game. It was more of a heavy, wizard battle game called Elemental Armageddon. But right now, the marketplace, according to most of the publishers I got their information from for the speed dating, right? They're all looking for quick card games. I think part of it is that a lot of the games with the little components have those little components made in China. And with the tariff situation, publishers are gearing away from the big heavy games, at least for now. It'll all run in a cycle, right? But for now, they're looking for quick, compact, easy to publish and sell card games or small table games.
Awesome. Well, that's amazing. We're going to go to a quick commercial break right now, so we'll be right back with more information about Beep Beep Boom.
And welcome back. Now, when it comes to a game like Beep Beep Boom, Tim, I remember playing Minesweeper on my dad's old computer, and I don't know if that was Windows 97 or whatever came after that. It's been a long time, but just what drew you to taking something like Minesweeper and repurposing it into, not to say that cards are archaic, because I love card games myself, but taking something from the computer and putting it down on paper?
I think part of the complaint a lot of people have with board games is that you play your turn and then you're stuck waiting and you're bored or checking your phone or whatever. And what's interesting about this game is that you have to be engaged, because if you give the wrong answer or say the wrong number of beeps, you're really going to mess up the game for everybody else. Yeah. So you really have to be focused on the game, and I think that promotes engagement and gets people involved. And what's nice about this game is you can play it with anywhere from 3 to 8 players. With 8 players, you're going to have 2 bombs each, so you're going to know where 2 of the bombs are, and you won't. So that's 16 out of 25. So there's a lot of bombs out there. There's only 9 safe spaces. So you have to be really, really careful. And you can, obviously, if somebody only beeps once and they should have been beeped twice, then somebody's going to pull a bomb. And they shouldn't have had to pull that, because they should have known with perfect information or better information, they would have been able to avoid that. So this game is basically 5 suits and 5 ranks. So you've got stars, you've got diamonds, squares, and triangles, and circles. So again, in deference to the people who are colorblind, each shape has a different color, but you don't need to see the color because you've got the 5 different shapes here. And then the manufacturer made these nice and prominent, so they're really easy to see. When I do a prototype, I buy blank cards, and I make a printer label, and I print off a bunch of them, and then I hand enter the one in the red circle. So it's nice when you can get a professionally done deck. I went to a company I kind of went the more expensive way. I didn't realize that there was a company called Game Crafter that could do it a lot less expensively, but I actually sent it to a printing house that specializes in making custom decks. And they wanted 54 cards, but 25 plus 25 is 50. So 4 of these cards have instructions on them on how to play. What was nice about Match Anything is that you've got 3 aspects. So 3 cubed is 27. 2 decks of 27 is 54, which is perfect. So that's, and the other thing I like is that you can play with multiple ranges of people. With Beep Beep Boom, it's 3 to 8. With Match Anything, it's 2, 3, 4, or 5. So for 2 or 3, you have a smaller grid, and then for 4 or 5, you have a bigger grid. So it's those are things you need to consider. What the manufacturer is going to want, because if you've got 60 cards in a deck, that's going to cost you more money and be a problem and be harder to manufacture.
No, definitely. I mean, it seems like, in the base game, there's a lot of chaos going on, but, there was an alternative version, a more advanced version, kind of a silent game, and that seemed really interesting to me because, there's a lot of different aspects that go on, with that as well. So how do you feel about having that alternative version to kind of give more of like a sneakier advantage to all these other players that are involved in the game?
And that was one of the feedback comments I got. So the silent version means that when you choose a space, you don't have to say if you have bombs or not. You can be silent the whole time. So you're still never really sure how many beeps are there except the person asking the question. So what often players will do is they'll choose a space adjacent to one that they know is a bomb, so that they know where one of them is, and they know their opponents won't know where that one is for sure, because player 2 has this bomb and player 5 has that bomb, right? So that's that, and I always try to add variants to games to adjust the challenge level. Right. So I don't know how I would simplify Beep Beep Boom for kids. One company objected to it, the game, because there were bombs involved. And I said, there's an entire line of games called Exploding Kittens that are marketed to kids.
Very
so
fun
you can't
game.
tell me. And the bomb can be a glitter bomb.
Yep.
Or a stink bomb, or whatever they do on Nickelodeon these days.
What about Bomberman?
Yeah,
Like that one.
anything's possible. But so that's a really cool option for the players that really want to be extra devious, and that's important for any game designer to include that level of, so you can flex the complexity of it and come up with different variants. So if people get tired of playing one way, or they've been playing it for an hour and they say, hey, let's try this variant to see how that goes. So the other conference that I went to before, back with Elemental Armageddon, I lived in Las Vegas for 2.5 years, and so I went to one called Dice Tower West. And so I got a lot of really good comments on that game, and I've made significant changes to that game. So I'm kind of, with the current environment of the focus on the smaller games, I kind of mothballed that for a little bit. We'll pull that out when the winds change and the big games are coming back into vogue. But yeah, it's exciting, it's fun, and I'm glad I landed here. Back in the Capital District. I was away for 9 years. I came back, and I still have my old friends. My regular card gaming group is here, and I've discovered a new group of friends. So it's really cool.
Taking this game from the computer to the tabletop format again, switching from a single player experience to multiplayer experience. Obviously, it seems like you have it down pretty good with how you've gotten the 3 to 8 players involved. But when you're first racking your brain around that, how seamless was that transition into the single player to multiplayer?
Right, so you start with the concept, right? You're like, okay, wouldn't it be cool if we could do this with people? And then I had to figure out, because unlike Minesweeper, this is only orthogonally adjacent spaces, so this doesn't include the diagonals, which threw people a little bit. But I think you'd really muddy the waters if you added diagonals, but who knows, maybe that's another variant. So I'm thinking, okay, what if you didn't know for sure how many bombs there were and how many players would that work with. So, like I did here with Match Anything, I just made a prototype deck, and you can buy these blank cards online at Amazon, and you can also get the sleeves, which are really important. What's nice about the sleeves is that when you shuffle these, it's always smooth, and you don't risk pulling a label off or something like that. And the other nice thing is, I think I made a mistake with my first deck. It's a little hard, but I was able to peel off the label and put on a new label. But the cards are inexpensive enough that you can do a lot of things. So it's fun to take a concept and make it. And there's still other things I'm thinking about, but I'm gonna see where BB Boom takes me, and then next up is going to be Match Anything after I get a couple more test plays in.
Do you have any aspirations to kind of revive any other old Microsoft games or any kind of online games? Because I know for me, I mean, when I used to go into the computer lab, I'm going straight to the pinball machine right on Windows 97, or I'm going online to go to Pop Tropica or like cool math games. Is there any other games that you kind of want to revitalize into a card game version?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't thought about any of those, but one thing I wanted to add about like Match Anything is this could be used at a schoolroom. There's nothing controversial about squares, circles, and triangles. And so if I can get something that can serve two purposes, right, to entertain and to educate and to learn a little bit of strategy and resource management and things like that. So I don't have anything in mind just yet, but you've given me some good ideas, so I have to do a little homework. I mean, one of my favorite games is Castles of Burgundy. I think that's just about the perfect game. I don't know how I could distill. I'd have to make something similar, but not too similar to something like that. But to me, that's the perfect resource management game. And for those of you not familiar with it, I explain it this way. Here's 10 awesome things. You can only have 2, and your opponent desperately wants number 7. Are you going to take number 7 just to spite your opponent, even though you don't need it? Or are you going to take the 2 things that you want? So that's kind of, the kind of thing. So if you have something where it's unusual, right? Because there's an abundance of choice, and you're responsible for your own decisions. Whereas some games, it's like, oh, I can choose A or B, and neither one is very good. Or if I get my complaint about Catan, you get a bad start, there's no coming back, so I played it once, and I'm like, oh wow, this is really awful. I know people love it, but if you're not next to those 8s and 6s, you're out of luck for the rest of the game. So yeah, I'm looking forward to. I mean, I'm kind of energized now, so I got the ball rolling, and it's like, okay, what can I do next? So it's a good way to spend my time. I live alone, so this is a great way to pass the time and do something productive. Yeah. And maybe get my car paid off. Who knows?
That is always
that would be
a nice goal.
Very ideal, for sure.
Any future events or playtesting things? I know you mentioned Bard and Baker, but anything else with the public where anybody who is interested can try this out and maybe give you some feedback? That's what you're starting for?
And I would invite anybody who's interested to visit Bard and Baker on the 4th Tuesday of any month. We start at 6 p.m. We'll go till about 10 or maybe even 11. It is a school night for a lot of people, literally, and this time of year. But not only my games, but I've played some other really cool games that I was super impressed with. Some of them are whimsical and very funny. Some of them have gone on to Kickstarter already. So it's some really fun and fascinating ideas. So yeah, you should come check it out. I'm sure Bard and Baker would love that. You can get snacks there. You can get drink there. So I'm sure they would be happy to accommodate more people.
This is the one in Troy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's I believe it's 500 Broadway, and if you don't want to eat there, there's a couple other places to eat. And Troy's known for its great restaurant scene. So there's 2 within walking distance that I've been to each of them, and they're both good. So. Enjoy Troy, right?
Most definitely. Is there anything else that that's coming up besides, these playtest events, anything like that you kind of want to shout out, even with the game developing, things like that?
No, I know there's one thing I did. I did participate in the live stream for St. Jude's, Jerry. So we had, back in May, we had a St. Jude's live stream. And I know October is another month with a lot of those types of events. So search for that, because you can raise money for a good cause, and you can see a bunch of different really cool games. I mean, I really enjoyed the live stream I did in May and got to play a whole bunch of other games. As far as for me, I'm not sure if I'm going to do Dice Tower again. I kind of want to see what other. There's also a Dice Tower East, which is in Orlando, and I'd have to look up when that is. But once I get, I have to see also what the publishers are going to say about Beep Beep Boom, because if not, I may have to just make 200 of them and put up a booth. So
what is the timeline on that, or the next steps? I know you mentioned you've talked to a couple publishers before, but to get this game out to the public, how much more is that going to take, or what goes into that?
So I think they're not going to take this design as is. They're going to mold it for their brand, right? So that's fine, and I'm part of that process. But there is, contract arrangements. So, the designer typically gets, so many dollars per unit sold. But and I'm not as experienced because I haven't had a game published before, but one guy in our group has. He's actually published 3 or 4 games. If you've ever played Tiny Towns, that's one of those games.
I think I have.
So
I think I have played
you've got
bigger box maybe.
You got a local designer in there, so so check that out. And I'm actually learning a lot from the people who are a little bit more experienced, who have done Kickstarters, who have had things published. So, the guys who run the group are really, they're fair. They keep track of the minutes. The man hours and minutes that are used for a specific game, so they can decide who gets to go first at the next meeting, right? If you had so if I have 7 players on a 20-minute game, that's 140 minutes that I've used for that game. So I may have to wait a couple sessions to play it again, because there are other people who haven't had anything tested,
right,
or who've only had, tested it with 2 or 3 players. So it's a fair system, and I like how they do it. So it's a good group of people, men and women, all are into it. So learn about all sorts of different things, and maybe you can say, when you see it in Target or one of the other stores, you could say, hey, I played that when it was a prototype. So.
What's a piece of feedback, positive or negative, that really stuck out to you? It doesn't mean that you took it or not, but any funny stories that you want to share, interesting pieces?
I think for the Match Anything game, when I had Match Any aspect, I got the feedback that it was too easy, because I originally had 2 phases. I had Match 1 aspect, then Match 2 aspects, and the positive feedback I received was that round 1 is too easy, and having round 1 and round 2 makes the game too long, because with a 5-player game, everybody gets a chance to go first. So with 5 players, that's 10 rounds, and they thought that was too long. So that's good feedback, and now I just go to phase 2 every time, and it's a lot more challenging. But I still have phase 1 available if kids want to play it. So I've had great comments. Some of them I didn't take.
That's okay.
Like one of them, somebody wanted like a special bonus if a certain combination of cards was made, another element of the complexity, and I just didn't want to do that with this one. So, but it's good to get everybody's feedback, and but you as a designer have to decide. It's your game ultimately. And they are only trying to help. And the comments are usually generally very constructive in that group. So I'm very comfortable with that.
Anything you think we missed?
Great.
Anything you want to add?
No, thanks very much for this opportunity. I'm
Yeah.
honored to have these.
We appreciate you having or coming on and being our first guest is quite incredible. So yeah, thank you for presenting us with your game. This is really awesome. So
All right. Well, as a parting gift, I have an unopened
no way.
deck of Beep Beep Boom, and I sent you the rules. But the rules are right on the back. They're pretty easy.
I printed them out too, just in case
Okay.
I got a little lost in sauce. But had to look
You
that
can
up
always call
in
me if
this
you get
meeting
confused,
yet.
but it's pretty self-explanatory. So, sir.
Well, thank
Wow,
you.
look
I
at that.
appreciate
Getting
it.
quite the
Give me a sign as well.
exclusive.
Sorry, Jacob. We'll share.
That's
Every
okay.
week
That's-
we'll go back and forth.
If you really want another one, I have about 8 left.
We'll trade back every other week. This is exclusive for us, so
Okay.
we'll take advantage of it.
Before we cut, is there any other ways you want people to reach you if they want to find out more about this? I know you said the Barton Baker event, but any contacts you want to push?
I don't really have an online presence just yet for this game, but you can reach me through you guys and I'll. Again, the information for the meetup group is we also have a Discord. So once you join that, we have all categories like self-promotion, and like I did today. It's like I'm going to be on WTEN or at their studios, right? And there's all these different things, and they call it Spiel Albany. So in Germany, they have this big game convention called Essen, and it's called Essen Spiel, which. So I'm guessing it's the German word for play or game or something like that. So it's called Spiel Albany, and so that's the group that meets twice a month. So it's you can just pop into Barton Baker the fourth Tuesday of any month, and they'll be there starting at 6.
Thank you, Tim, and I think with that, Jacob's going to take it away.
Okay.
Yeah, well, guys, thank you so much for watching the first episode of Bits and Boards. Tim, thank you once again for showcasing your brand new game,
My pleasure.
Beep Beep Boom, excuse me. But we will see you guys on the next episode. Thank you.